Watch and learn how to craft your corset cup like a pro. So let's get right into the video. You're going to get a piece of paper like so, and you're going to measure 12 inches by 12 inches. So this 12 inches should be enough for every average person, right? After marking the 12 inches, I divide it by 2, like I measured 6 inches for me to get the midpoint. Now after marking it, I'll just go ahead to rule a straight line. So now after ruling that straight line, I'll also mark half inches from this side, from the left hand side, to serve as my starting point. That is where all our measurements will be starting from. Now after marking it, I've gone ahead to connect the lines together. Now this line that we marked at the midpoint is going to serve as a bust point, so that is where we'll take our other measurement from. Now after getting the bust point, you're going to put your tape, like from my shoulder to my bust point is 10, so I put the tape at 10 and then I mark my under bust. So from my shoulder to under bust is 13 and a half, so that is what you are seeing there. So I put the tape at 10 inches, which is the bust point, and then I mark 13 and a half for my under bust, and I went ahead to label it. Now next thing now is going to be your across chest, or some people call it upper bust. So I usually use 7 inches because I want it to be covered properly. So I mark 7 inches starting from my under bust. So watch the way I'm marking it. So I'll be marking 7 inches like so. So now after marking it, I'll just go ahead to rule a straight line, and then I'll label it as UP bust, that is upper bust measurement, right? So we have the upper bust, the bust point, and then the under bust. Next thing we are going to be working with is our nipple to nipple divide by 2. So mine is 8. When I divide it by 2, I have 4 inches. So I'll be marking the 4 inches. So this is just like we are taking a dart, right? Yes, we're going to mark our normal 4 inches for the dart that I'm using for my own. Now after marking it, I'll just go ahead to rule a straight line. So now for the other part of the line, some people usually use their nipple to nipple measurement plus half inches as after dividing it by 2. But for this particular one, I measure what I have from my bust point to under bust, and then I added 1 inch. So whichever way you are going to use, they are also going to be the same. So mine is 4.5 because from my under bust to bust point is 3.5. So plus 1 inches is 4.5. So next thing now, we are going to be marking half inches all round except the one going up. So I mark half inches all round just the way you are seeing it, these 3 points. Now after marking the half inches, next thing we'll come down, we're going to mark 1.25, that is 1.25, right, on the down side, just like we are taking a dart. And then that point where I'm marking, you're going to be marking half inches up and then down, right? Now this is me just trying to label it so that even if you don't understand, you watch what I'm writing. So that is 0.5 I wrote there, serving as half inches. And then this part I'm also marking half inches. So now this left hand side, I also mark half inches up and then half inches down. Then after marking it, I pick my pen to label it as 0.5, which is half inches. So can you see what we have? Now let's work with what we just marked. Now look at the direction of my hand. You are just going to curve it starting from that half inch to the 1.25. I'll curve it on the both side, and then from that leg I'll go and curve it to meet the other half inches by our right hand side, right, that is on the bust point. And then I'll do same thing at this side. Can you see what we have now? Now next thing is for us to cover it. So from this part, I'll measure it. I'll put my straight rule, curve it like this to meet the half inches, and then on the other side I'll curve it to meet the half inches. So if you don't understand, just watch what I do, you understand it very well. So now our down curves are ready. Now next thing now is we're just going to curve that part using the half inches we put there. We just go ahead and curve it to meet the point, and then the other side we're going to do same thing that we did here right now, just now, sorry. Now next thing we are going to be doing is, can you see this is what we have? Yeah, so the next step now is we're just going to come down by half of an inch to give it that sweetheart neckline, right? You know, that is our center front, right? That is our center front. So gain down by 1/2 inch to give it a sweetheart neckline. Now on the side there, what you have to do is you can either go up by 0.5 to cover it, or you come down depending on any shape you want. So let's assume we come down by 1/4 inch just to give it a little curve, right? So that is what we'll be using for this particular crafting. And after that, we just go ahead to label it. The upper ones, they are all 1 and then the down one, they are 2 and 3. Now next thing is for us to go ahead and cut. So guys, this is me cutting it, and watch the way I cut it. Yes, you have to be very careful while cutting it. So you have to cut all the cups. Now after cutting it, we are going to be taping them together. So first thing, we are going to be taping 2 and 3 together first, and then we'll carry the 2 and 3 to tape to the upper part. So sorry, I increase the speed here very well so that it can fasten the whole process. And after all, this is our final outcome. Thanks for watching, and see you in my next tutorial. Bye.